Greetings everyone, a warm welcome. Hey Virgo, this is your reading for November. Thanks for joining me guys. We're using the John Holland deck there, 7 cards from that in a spread called the Mystic 7, then 1 card at the end for some high vibrational clarification and insight. Let's start the shuffling. In fact, I have already been shuffling for you guys with your intent in the deck. So this is for Virgo, November 2018. Okay, your first card is your current situation. Very nice. Material harvest, the 9 of Pentacles. Your second card is your obstacles card, and it's your heart chakra. Your third card is your aspiration, and that is your throat chakra. Your fourth card is what needs to be awakened, and that is conflict. Guys, my camera had stopped recording. I think it had done this in one of the other signs as well. It plays up occasionally. So I'm not sure whether or not you saw all of those cards being dealt out or which ones you haven't. So I'll just run through it again quickly. So your first card is number 9 of Pentacles, material harvest. The second card, which is your obstacles, is the heart chakra. The third card, which is aspiration, is the throat chakra. The fourth card down here is what needs to be awakened, is the 5 of Swords. The fifth card is what lies behind you, that's your sacral chakra. The sixth card is the next stage, which is number 20, the judgment card. And your final card is what will be, and it's number 7, deception and envy. Now this card has been out a little bit in the month of November, and it's been in that position for a couple of people, I think. I don't like the card a lot, and when I see it come out for a lot of different signs, it makes me think that there can be global activity that has to do with things such as corruption and fraudulent activity. So sometimes this could be indicative of things such as a mass internet hack into things like social medias or bank accounts or monetary funds, something along those lines. It can also refer to personal theft and, you know, like identity theft and things like that. We'll get to it when we move there, but it's interesting it's come out so much, and I do find that when that happens, it seems to be a biggish global impact for a lot of people. Let's just get back to the personal part of the reading. Number 1, the current situation, the material harvest, the 9 of Pentacles. A really good card for you guys to get, and a lovely way to start your reading. So there's positivity here around some sort of portion of your finances. This card can sometimes turn up when we are gifted something, or when we have found, if you like, we might have found a little bit that we had forgotten we had, or that it has paid, we've found a dividend of something one way or another, or we sell an item and we get an injection of cash. But there's this beautiful feeling of reward within the card, and I sometimes think it's not just necessarily monetary reward, because that says their material harvest, and he's sitting around with all the beautiful foods and reaping that benefit of life, so from Earth's warm nurturing hands. So it sort of has a feel of opulence, of love and happiness and feeling sated, and sometimes even quite social, you know, as if you're gathering together, like the harvest is gathered there. So there can be many different feelings of positivity within this card, but it certainly is a beautiful way to start your reading. So one to focus on as the month moves through, and to pick that particular energy as a positive way of manifesting your dreams and desires. Your second card, which is an obstacle card, is the heart chakra. So I will pop a nice crystal on here for you. This is a huckleberry jasper, and I think it works really well with the colour of the card. Okay, so when the chakra cards turn up, and you've got 3 of them, and a few others also had 2 or 3, it generally means there's a little bit of a block in this part of our either physical body or emotional body. So for some of you, this could be a physical heart issue. It would pay to go and have a heart checkup. You might need an angiogram, or you might need to go and have your blood pressure done, or your cholesterol done. Some of you might be even booked in for little things like heart surgery, minor heart surgery. Some of you, it could indicate through the whole chest area, so it could be around the lungs or chest or heart. There might be a blockage there physically. So if it's not physical, it can be emotional. So this can be quite traumatic, because the heart chakra is where we hold love. And love is, of course, the emotion we all come here to connect with one way or another. So this could infer for some of you that there is a feeling of either loss or sorrow or pain around some form of the love emotion. It could be a new pain that's arisen, or stress or loss, or it could relate back to past times. Whatever it is, it would do you well to heal it, or to free it up, or to get more flow into this part of your heart. When we have the blockages, we prevent flow from occurring. And when we prevent flow at any level, whether it's spiritual, emotional or physical, it will block other proportions as well. So even if your blockage is physical, it will also start to block the spiritual and emotional perspectives. Vice versa, if it's a spiritual block, it will also cascade down and block through the physical realms. So any of these chakra cards that turn up are really good times to reevaluate these certain portions or areas of your life at all of these different levels. If we move on to the third card, which is the throat chakra, up here, this one right after this one is also suggesting that there could be a blockage here in the throat area. So these two are right next to each other, the heart and then the throat follow on body-wise, because this is the heart chakra here, for instance, and then the throat is through here. So if those two are blocked consecutively, then the build-up in the body could even be more intense. Some of you could notice things like reflux or heart or chest pain, and it might be from indigestion. Some of you could notice problems like a tension building up in there, like a feeling of blowing up, as if you're going to lose the plot or become really angry, because those two are our forms of, as I say, kind of like emotional, the love energy, and also the communication bond up here. We can pop some of this lace agate onto this one. So communication is fundamentally the key to human relationships. Without good communication, whether it's talking or listening, because that's also communication, or the ability to write things or to bring it from the thought form down into the physical world, that's communication. When those bridges aren't working, our whole system begins to fall to pieces. Our whole humanity does. So see, it goes far wider than just ourselves. It affects our entire community and all the people that we associate with. So again, freeing up this throat chakra can be really beneficial. And you can free up any of these by wearing the appropriate colours for each one, or eating those coloured foods, or exercising that part of the body, or doing meditation around it, or going through things such as Reiki healing or energy healing, or utilising things such as the essential oils. They're also really beneficial. So there are many different ways of creating flow, and when we have flow, everything manifests with so much more ease. You'll manifest more love, you'll manifest better health, you'll manifest more finances, you'll manifest a little bit more of everything in life. So it's worth doing some of these clearing of the blockages. You can also do things like physical purges of the body and go on a fast or a liquid diet for a day or so. That can also be beneficial. You can just do chakra balancing work and just, activate that part of the body around the heart. And you can do it by literally creating energy flows around the body. There are so many different ways of removing stagnant energy, because we all get it. It's not like just certain people get it. Every single one of us will get these blockages because we're human. That's how life works. So if we come to your fourth card, it's what needs to be awakened. And there's a conflict and defeat going on here, which is the Five of Swords. Now the Five of Swords is all about communication. So some of you might feel as though there's a lack of communication with a person or a situation or a cycle in your life or an idea or a project. It feels as though you need to stand up and be heard, or get your voice out there, or actually get into something. Unfortunately, this card here is often about arguments, and it's often about standing up and saying what you want, but the other people go, no, I'm sorry, I don't agree, and off they go. This card reminds us to be more careful about how we communicate. We don't need to argue. We can get something said even if we're quite strongly opinionated about it. We can get it said without, forcing our own perspective onto someone else, but still maintaining our integrity values. So there's a way of doing it, and it's more about like mediation almost, or introducing your perspective and saying to the other person, look, okay, I see this is how you think, or this is the way you act in life. I don't particularly want to do that, so I'll stand over here in my integrity values and my moral ethics. If you don't like it, then you're free to choose to go. But if you wish to be with me, this is how I would like to conduct things. It's that type of way of dealing with it. But sometimes the card does suggest that the people could choose to go. And if that's the case, then they needed to go, and you probably didn't need to be with them. It might be a time in November where you do actually get this communication going and you sort a few things out one way or another. We come to the fifth card, which is what lies behind you, and this is your sacral chakra energy. So this is the part of the body really down low and around the sex organs, that type of area. So it's also our very much creative part of our body. If there's a blockage here in your creative zone, it could be gluggish and sluggish and not allowing the flow of creative thoughts and energies. So if some of you have ideas that you're wanting to conceive, or projects you're wanting to come to fruition, if some of you are artists, or you want to write or publish something or draw or paint, you might need this area of your body cleared. So with this one, we're looking for like a nice orange energy, and that carnelian can work really well. This area of the body could also show up with physical pain through this, so especially for women through that whole menstruation cycle, or through the menopause type time phase that comes on in life. It could be an idea to get those areas of the physical body checked out if you're suffering pain or blockage in there. Sometimes when this area is blocked and not free-flowing, we can have trouble conceiving things like a pregnancy as well. So for those of you wanting to achieve a pregnancy, it might be a really good time to make sure there are no blockages in the physical perspective of this body, as well as the emotional and spiritual. So it feels as though you guys could be doing some like work on yourself. This is a reading very, very much about yourselves for the month. It's about honouring who you are, respecting it, connecting with it, and working with it, and really bringing it up to zing, like boom, putting some power and force and energy into it. It does feel more like it's concerning yourself and not other people so much. Even this one down here is more about you setting the tone about what you like or dislike in life. So if we come to what is the next stage, it's this truth card, which is the judgment. And again, this card is it's one of your only major arcana cards, I guess, but it kind of comes to us and it says, you can clearly see there he's weighing things up because he's on the scales, and this is exactly what happens when the card is around. We weigh up what we've been doing, who we've been associating with, what our integrity values are, what our religious or esoteric values are, and we suddenly go, wow, I get it. I see what I'm either not doing right, which could be why all this gludgy stuff is around, or what I need to do. So it's the moment of epiphanies in life. It's where we get the aha realization, and it often leads to change, and it often leads to heightened awareness. And again, it's very, very personal. It's not about anyone else, and no one else can tell you to do these things. It's like when you were a child, you might have been told you had to go to church, or you had to believe in this, or you had to follow that, or go to school, or do your homework, yada yada. But when you move into adulthood, you have this entire freedom to be who your heart's desire tells you. You connect with yourself more than anyone else, and you honour the choices that you want to make. And that's what the Judgment card is. It's truth, and that's the perfect word for it. Some people fear the Judgment card. They think it means, this whole annihilation of life, or the losing of stability of life, but it's not. It's the complete opposite. So in fact, I find it a very strong and empowering card, and as I say, it's the only time this month it's come out for any of the signs so far. So I think it's one worth listening to and connecting with. If we come to your end one, we've talked about it briefly. These people down here that you might be telling that you don't want to associate with in life could well be because they are this. These two could go hand in hand, and they are the Swords cards, so they are about communication. So they often, this one here warns us that there could be people around you who are not honest and full of integrity, and that they could be there to disrupt things and cause havoc. Especially be careful for your personal identity, especially online when you're buying things, or when you are connecting with people, or when you are telling your private things. Watch also for personal burglaries and things at home. Watch especially for loan sharks, for fraudulent banking things. Just be doubly cautious in the month of November and leading into December. So just have some personal security around you that is current and activated, and keep your eyes and ears open for people who don't look good and who look like they've got something shady going on. And as I said earlier, it often leads to a bigger global interference during the month of November and December, like Facebook hack, or Instagram, or some other social media, or an independent or big fraudulent activities within countries, even like their spy agencies doing something, and somehow you could be affected at one level, like your bank may be got into, and you might get notification from your bank saying, oh, we've been hacked, check your accounts, or change your password, yada yada. So I think we'll stop there because we've gone on for a reasonable length of time. You've certainly got a lot of really interesting messages that I think could be really uplifting and beneficial for you guys. So let's put the crystals back and see what your last card is for the reading. So this is for Virgo. Archangel Michael, and that's the first time Michael has been out as well, and he has this beautiful kind of mauvey energy, and it says enchantment. So I'm going to read from the book what that could exactly mean for you. But Michael is a wonderful celestial energy for protection in particular, so very good when we've just been talking about that last card. He can protect you at all levels. If you feel physically threatened, if you're out walking in a city, a strange city at night, and you think, oh my God, someone following me, you can call on Michael and Metatron for protection. He's good for protecting the four corners of your property. So if you felt there were a lot of burglaries in your area, you can call upon this angelic vibrational essence to protect the corners of your property every day or every evening, and ask that no negative energies are allowed on. Let's look at Michael and see. He is the cosmic leader, and I will read the words for you from the enchantment. Michael asks you to remember the magic of your life by connecting with the path of the enchanted. Is magic missing from your life, or are you aware of a lack of imagination in your creative purpose? And I guess that comes back essentially to that sacral chakra area we were looking at. Allow the divine joy of the child within you to reconnect with the free flow fun that was once present in your innocence. This is a doorway to the numinous. With this card, the unicorn's magical horn touches your soul with the love of its perspicacity, compelling, eternal, and especially wise about that divine light within you. When it shines, the charisma of your soul magnetizes all people to you. Chant He through your crown chakra to resonate with the higher frequencies of enchantment. So there we are. It's asking you to find the joy and the childlike happy energies of divine joy for free flow, creativeness, and your innocence and happiness. So thank you for joining me, Virgo. I wish you all much enchantment and happy energies for November. I love it when you leave your comments below the video, and I will look forward to meeting you all again in December for the end of year reading. So thanks again, guys. Check your moon and rising signs, and much love and happiness to you all. Namaste.